Welcome to Rauta, I am Jerry and this time we go into the world of death metal with a band called Exhumation. Masters Personae is the name of this album and this band is two-man one with now extended lineup it seems. Well, let's say, then it used to be more of a two-man band. And here you can see some photos, some lyrics, some quite beautifully crafted album inlay booklet. And everything looks nice if you ask me. I mean, based on these booklet things, I would say, yeah, this looks nice. Now, whether this is a two-man band or beyond goes beyond the point. And what matters is this, if it's worth your time. I mean, like I said, based on the visuals and everything, I'm like, okay, let's get it done. Now what can we tune for Metal Archive site for Exhumation? Obviously, you see a lot of bands. Almost 10 different bands with the same name. And beyond that, you will also find quite a bit of bands with death metal. I mean, take a look at this list and pretty much all of the bands says death in one of those genre definitions. Some are pure death metal, some are doom, black, whatever. So which one is this? Well, this is the Indonesian one and rather new. Guess they didn't have Metal Archive site back in the days when this was founded. I mean, I kind of understand it was 2008. So, when this was founded. Now with 4 albums in, this is a band I've featured previously with 11th Formulae in 2020. And haven't really heard the previous albums before that, the Deuce first album, so can't really compare this to one that. But 11th Formulae wasn't exactly my cup of tea. I mean, it's kind of a like old school death metal which doesn't really go anywhere. And by that I mean there are no like killer riffs or memorable parts or just like hit songs or whatever. I know when people are like, hit songs in death metal, or are you serious? And I could, name quite a few from various bands over the years or decades. So when you have death metal album that is made by one and the same track, or more like no peak moments, not necessarily low moments either, because this album is actually very, very consistent. But when you have an album without the peak moments, doesn't even really matter if it doesn't have low points. I guess not. Because when you don't have hit points, then you're kind of like, and hit points can have a double meaning, by the way. When you have those peak moments, then you're like, so what there is to just cling on to? I don't really know. For me, this album with 10 songs and almost 40 minutes is like, I kind of get it where you're coming from. You're coming from the old school background. You have the kind of organic, anti-super produced sound, which can work both ways. Some people are gonna say, yeah, fuck yeah, American ways, old school sound and all that stuff. In a way, sure, but also it helps when you have a stronger production when you don't have those killer riffs, because even the basic riffs can then sound like powerful, heavy, blasting, making earthquake. Now when you don't have that, you really, really rely on the good riffs and songs only. And unfortunately for me, this album doesn't have that. This is not to say it isn't a decent album, because in a way it kind of is. It's very easy to listen. It's kind of like, yeah, these guys do old school death metal. I mean, it's not really fast. It's not technical. It's not doom death or black death or any of those things. It's more like going back to the very basics, very foundation of death metal, which is then also a separating point. Then you have the kind of like bands like Death or, Obituary, Cannibal Corpse, D-Side. Kind of American thing. In the early 90s you would have a lot of Swedish bands, and when you put this in comparison you're like, okay, these guys are a little bit late to the game, like 30 years. Not saying it's outright bad, but I feel like there's nothing really this is giving me. I find it very easy to listen, but also similar as easy to forget. So while there's nothing really to hate, there's also very, very little for me to be excited about. So don't get me wrong, these Indonesian guys are definitely paying tribute to the old times, if you will. They're kind of doing their best in order to sound like timeless death metal. And in a way, they are successful with that. But when I'm like, does this band have anything to offer me with these 2 albums in terms like, I want to go back, I want to go telling people about it, why it's so great. And I'm like, sorry, but I cannot do it and be honest at the same time. I could do the sales pitch and say it's very great and all, but I would be lying. So if you're old school death metal fanatic, like I tend to be, I would say I am, I would say proceed with caution. You probably could like some ideas and maybe you like it a lot more than me, But then again, like I said, nothing out of ordinary is happening here. So you really have to be a big fan of the given style and then you will like it. But if you're just like picking the best parts of the given genre and all, then this might be a little bit lukewarmish for you. But of course you decide for yourself, so don't take my word for that. I'm saying this is only for old school death metal fanatics and the rest can pretty much forget about the existence of this album or the band. But if you really like that, yeah, go give it a go. Links are included in the description box so you will easily find the music there and probably on your favorite streaming services. So up to you. You decide, of course, and that's pretty much all of it. Now, off you go. See you soon with more reviews coming your way.